Welcome to H3 Live. You're here with Trish and Steve. Hey, Steve Bose. How are
Hey,
you?
Trish. I'm well. How are you?
I am great. I just got back from vacation. You and I don't take vacations very often, do we?
What? What does that mean? I don't know
I
that word.
know. I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions about when you run your own business and work for yourself, right? It's like, oh, I could take vacation whenever I want, which is true for the most part, but you
Mhm.
just don't, right?
Not
So,
as
but I
often
have
as we should.
I have my Disney on, Walt Disney World.
Sweet.
So, yeah, my daughter did a great thing. She ran the Disney Princess Half Marathon last weekend.
In full
Did great.
costume, or how does that work? The princess half
Well, you
marathon.
can. So it was interesting. It was her first time doing it. She's wanted to do it for years. And no, I mean, I think she was more like inspired by costumes
Okay,
of Disney
gotcha.
characters, but some people show up in the full regalia. I mean, I saw a man who was running as Ariel from The Little Mermaid, and he head to toe looked
Who
the
is
part. It
your
was
Who is
great.
your favorite Disney princess?
Oh, Snow White.
Okay,
Classic. Do you have a favorite princess?
Moana, is that one?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Sure, that's my favorite.
absolutely. That's your favorite. Have you watched Moana?
I have not.
No, you know what? I actually just saw a Disney movie for the first time about a week ago called Coco. And because, like, when your kids are growing up, you know how you watch some of them and not all of them. And long story short, I hadn't seen
You
that one.
wait a
It was
minute. You watch some of your kids, not all of the kids, or
the
some of the movies, not all
movies,
the movies?
both. Some of the
Okay.
kids, not all the kids. No, we had this thing where, because you get so sick of, like, kid shows, when you're parenting, and
Hmm.
so we had sort of a deal where my husband at the time would, take them to some of the movies, I would take them, and then grandma would take them to some of the movies, so I've
Okay.
missed a lot, but Coco's really good, it's really cute, so I'm only I don't know how many years behind in catching up, but yeah, it was fun, and Disney is always, um it's always busy, but it's not that busy this time of the year because it's right before spring break, so
Hmm.
it was much more enjoyable, and so many good business reminders when you visit a Disney park because they are trying to do everything right, so, yeah, I
Hmm.
come back energized, for
Good.
sure.
Awesome.
You should take a vacation
I will eventually.
eventually, yeah. Although, I don't know about walking, 18,000 steps a day or something, there's not much vacation in that,
Seems
so
like a lot.
I probably should have gone somewhere where I just laid down and rested, but anyway, you need to find a beach, right?
Speaking of laying down and resting,
Oh god.
I did a workplace minute. This is a good pivot here. I did a workplace minute the other day about retirement in America. It was a study I'd read
Oh,
showing essentially lots of people getting closer to retirement age and really not ready
mhm.
for retirement, whether they've not really saved up enough or they haven't
Yeah,
planned properly, or, interestingly, and as I dug into this, so, and I should have known this honestly, but so many American workers really don't have
mhm,
access to company sponsored retirement plans or company
right.
contributions for retirement plans, particularly in small businesses, right? You mentioned some of the travails of being a small business owner. This is
Oh, yeah,
certainly one of them, right? It can be expensive. It's typically not the first or second or third benefit or perk, right, a small business
right.
owner may want to install for their employees, especially at a really small company. And so it was kind of a bit of a wake up call, made me think about my own, plans and whatnot. But
Mhm,
it's interesting and opportunity there as well for organizations to talk about that more. Um, and the last thing I'll say on it, and I'd love your thoughts on this, and if you've thought about this at all. But one of the things we're finding too in many industries is people are just working longer
yep,
for various reasons,
right.
including one of them certainly being retirement readiness. And I was thinking about like the connection between that and like workforce planning or just
Mhm,
understanding, because most, especially bigger companies, right? You'd probably be looking at your data and saying, we're going to start seeing retirements in a certain pattern, because that's what's happened over time. And
right.
when folks with the organization get to be certain ages and certain tenures, they start dropping off, and it's pretty consistent. And that's probably changing too, and which can block up progression paths inside the organization, can make
Oh,
younger
yeah.
or less experienced employees get stuck, right, butting up against people who just aren't going anywhere, but
Mhm,
aren't going to
yeah,
move up anymore. it was fascinating. The whole subject of retirement readiness and retirement anxiety is one I'm gonna follow some more this year and probably do a few more shows on it. I don't it just struck me as so interesting last week when I was talking about this.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you bring that one up because you're right. I think that in my own head, I've thought, I'm in my 50s. I don't plan on retiring anytime soon. I just don't. And maybe it also becomes a little bit like who your examples are. My dad was, or is the silent generation.
Mhm.
And so when he retired at like 62, because that's what was sort of expected at the time,
Yeah.
he was home for maybe a year or 2 at most, and then went back and found a job because he was bored. So
Mm,
yes, there is the money element, of course, that people aren't necessarily prepared enough, to live out from 62 to 92 or 102, whatever. But I think there's also a boredom factor that goes into retirement readiness, right?
yeah.
Because you can only sit around and do so much. Like, you run out of things, I think, to do. And
Mhm.
so he went back to work, and I always found it interesting that he then retired after like another 15 years almost at
Wow.
the company. The second company. I'm like,
Did you
who
get, like,
does
another
that?
watch from that company as
That's why I
well?
asked him, I'm like, "You've officially, like, retired twice," because but it's funny, okay, so we never discuss what we're gonna talk about before we get on here, and it's funny you bring up retirement because I just read an article and I made note of it to ask you about. You a fan of the Beach Boys? Do you listen to the Beach Boys or at least
I wouldn't call
familiar?
myself a fan. I'm familiar.
Familiar, okay. Well, what I didn't realize, because I 'cause I'm the same way. Love their music, I'm just not a huge, like, fan. Um, I didn't realize, number 1, they're still touring, and that I guess as they've passed away over the years or whatever, they've been replaced, at different times for different reasons, and the man, Bruce Johnson, who filled in for Brian Wilson, who was
Okay.
famously lying in bed for many years for a variety of reasons, um
Sounds like your retirement dream, by the way, or
my
your
retirement
vacation dream,
dream.
the lying
I
in bed
know,
dream.
my
Yeah.
official dream. No, but Bruce Johnson never had plans to be in the band, he was just, like, filling in.
Okay.
He is now retiring, leaving the band after 60 years.
60? 60?
60, 6
Wow.
decades, and so he is 83 years, I'm gonna say 83 years young, even though it's a little corny sometimes. I think this
Sure.
man is an exemplary, person of that sort of a statement because he's retiring not because he's 83, not because he doesn't wanna be in front of the fans, he loves his fans, obviously, and I thought he was an original member, which he's not. Here's his quote, "I'm retiring to get serious about songwriting."
Good for him.
So, I'm glad you brought up retirement and retirement readiness. So, I guess maybe that just helps you maybe it's just sort of leaves you with something to think about. Like, just because you retire doesn't mean you're not still wanting to be active, wanting to use your brain in a
Yeah.
different way, or I just found that really inspiring that here he is at 83 going, "Yeah, I'm gonna retire just so I can write more." Like, to me, that does sound like heaven, you know?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I do think we spend so much of our time, most of us,
Mhm.
right, in our working
Yeah,
lives, spending a lot of time doing things ideally we wouldn't choose to do perhaps if we didn't have
perhaps.
to for many reasons, right?
Right.
Uh, we all like we all like some elements of our jobs usually and dislike others,
Mhm.
but most of us are not doing fully what we'd want to do all day,
Right.
every day, right? Until and you don't get that opportunity until you retire. And often for folks, perhaps certain things they'd want to do have passed them by. If you wanted to say always climb Mount Everest, but you never had the time,
Mm.
if you wait till you're 83, it's probably not in the cards
Not
for you
yet.
then, right? So,
No.
um, yeah. So somehow he has more time to spend on songwriting, good for him. What are you going to
Yeah.
do? If you're retired, let's say you retired today.
Oh,
Today's your last day. You signed off. What
that's
are
easy.
you spending more time doing starting tomorrow?
It's kind of a combo deal. So I would want to travel and not just around the world. We do a lot of global travel for work. I would like to see all of the 50 states and paint in every one. I
Okay.
would do nothing but just crank out paintings
That
and,
sounds like fun.
maybe
Like
some
Bob
writing
Ross,
too.
like that kind of cranking them out that quickly?
Sometimes
20 minutes?
watercolor. Here's the thing, I watercolor because watercolor takes patience, and you have
Mm,
to be
That doesn't sound
willing
fun.
to sort of layer by layer build something up and have like a vision. So
Hmm.
yeah, I can do a painting really quickly, but typically it takes a couple of months if it's something I'm seriously working on. So,
All right. Well,
yeah.
that sounds fun.
How about you? What would you do if you retired today?
I'd figure out a way to do more work with senior dogs.
Oh,
That's what I want to
okay.
do. Hmm.
So for people that aren't familiar, you have a senior dog,
I
right?
do. Hmm.
And what would be some of the reasons that people would wanna get more involved with senior dogs as opposed to, like, getting a puppy?
I think many dogs hit certain age, much like people, and
Uh-huh.
find themselves in difficult circumstances. What you see often, right, with senior dogs is they've been owned by senior people who either
Yes.
pass away or get sick or just have to go to a nursing home or something like that and can
Yeah,
no longer take care of them. That seems to be a really common story with these senior dogs.
sure.
And they don't have a place to go for whatever reason. They don't have friends or family members who can take them in, and so there's lots of senior dog rescues and senior dog shelters, and many of them don't even adopt the dogs out. They're like almost like hospice care for senior dogs,
Yeah.
where these organizations will take the dogs in and just care for them until they meet their natural end. And I just think they're so sweet. They're great. I love our dog. She's been a blessing, and I just think they
How long
need.
have you had her now?
We have probably close to 3 years, 2.5, 3 years.
Oh, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that's flying by.
So
And she's
that's what I
fine?
do.
She's good? She's
She is
healthy?
ball of energy. Absolutely.
Ball of energy. You know what? We do stories I mean, we do stories about retirement always, right? And we do things about just mental health and well-being. I would love if someone is out there or if we could find someone who actually works with senior dog adoption. Because like you just said, I mean, there's so many people out there who could benefit maybe from having the company of a pet, and
Mhm.
they're they're different in level of responsibility. I have 2 senior dogs myself who I've had since
I'll
they
tell
were
you
very
what,
young,
this
but
is like an off thing, I didn't think about this until now. It'd be a
yeah.
great thing for, like for a company to, like, bring in, like work with the rescues, make a little donation, bring in
Oh,
10 or 12
dude.
senior dogs, bring
Uh-huh.
them into the facility, have them run around, play
Yeah.
with the people, all that, right? It'd be fun. Let's do something like that. Get that
I
organized for a little
love that
team builder.
idea because I think everything comes down to awareness, right? And if you don't know that there are senior dogs out there, for example, who where maybe someone has passed away, but think about that. If you're entering retirement, instead of a watch, maybe you should be given a senior dog.
All right, let's work on that. I think that's a great little bow on today's little
There you
conversation.
go.
Retirement,
Can I show
senior
my senior
dogs,
dog? I
painting
have
around
one
the
here.
world.
Mila, come here. Come here. She's moving slow because she's a senior dog. Come here, baby.
Well, aren't we all at this point?
All right. This is my senior dog, Mila.
Ah,
She is 13. How you doing, baby? I got her when she was like 9 weeks old, and I looked at a picture recently, and her face was all brown back then. Now she's all white.
this is
So
certainly going to spike our views on this video,
it
Trish. Well
is
done. That was
puppies.
smart. Puppies are money right there.
They are. So bye from me and my senior dog,
Good to see
and
you,
we'll
Trish. It was fun. We'll
good
be
to
back. We're
see
doing a
you.
special live tomorrow. I'm talking
Yes.
about our trends report and one of our topics this year. And plus, look at our website, h3hr.com next week. New Signals Awards coming out soon. We'll talk more about them next week.
All right. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time. Bye for now.